Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Calypso Cigar Review Podcast. I am Brandon Luna.
I'm Randy Rankin.
And this is episode 77.
77, nice.
70 freaking 7 of these.
I know.
I'm done once we get to 80. I'm done.
80?
Done.
Calling it
off.
at 80?
Calling it.
You're Daniel Toshing it?
Yep, I'm on Daniel Tosh it.
There you go.
And then we're going to do something else totally
Does he still
different.
do that bit?
I think he does. I think he does. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not someone to let a dead horse.
No, he pretty much, he'll beat that dead horse till it's glue.
Yeah, he will.
So today we're doing something special.
Today, Brandon?
Something special that a listener slash buddy of mine sent to us. I've known this guy since my days back smoking for the first time, and when I was on Cigar Aficionado forum, which no longer exists, by the way.
Really?
Well, a portion of it. They totally ripped out all the trading portion of the Cigar Aficionado forum.
Really?
Because there was too much BS going on there.
Oh, okay.
So this guy, he goes by MP. His name is Mark. He saw that I had a birthday coming up, and he bombed me with a bunch of cigars for my birthday.
Very
and
cool.
these were 2 of them. He sent them in pairs of 2 because he's like, hey, if you haven't reviewed these before, you know, get them on the show and review them. So
deal.
Cool deal. Thank you, Mark. So we got the Julius Caeser here, which is the Diamond Crown Julius Caeser. Very, very nice cigar. I've had these before, and I'm a fan, so this is going to be an easy review. Wrapper on this is Ecuadorian Havana seed. The binder is Dominican, and the filler is Caribbean Basin and Central American.
Nice. There you go.
Interesting.
There you go.
Muy interesante.
Well, I'm going to cut with the Monte Cristo, Altadis Monte Cristo cigar scissors.
No, you're doing great, man.
I know. Donated by Eddie Gavito, the great Eddie Gavito.
The great Eddie Gavito. I've got a song, and I'm going to record it soon for Eddie Gavito. He's going to have his own theme song.
He's going to love that.
Just wait for it, guys.
That cold draw.
It's going to be awesome. Making it a country song because it is Texas. So.
Yeah.
Cold draw good?
That's a little gravelly.
It's a little minerally, yeah. You get into those Dominican cigars, they tend to be a little minerally. Cold draw is sweet.
It's sweet spice, a little spice. I wasn't expecting any kind of spice, and I'm getting a little bit.
It has 2 years on it, from what I understand. And these are not really necessarily ass kickers from the start, so I'm expecting something pretty mellow with a lot of flavor. You going for the cold retro hail?
Cold
Let's
retro
try
hail.
it. Let's try it. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
It's not a thing.
That's not a thing. I'm sorry. Maybe if it's like a super strong cigar, cold retro hail.
Maybe.
Or if you're just
he
always
wants it to
high.
work.
Maybe he's just always high.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He just wants it to work.
But it is a beautiful looking cigar. I mean, the band is cool. You got the misspelling of Caesar, and the story behind that is pretty good because that's the name that they gave him when he came over.
Oh yeah.
And they spelled it wrong, and that's just how they kept it. So they did that for the band. So
Okay.
that's
That
kind of
works.
cool. I don't know the whole story, but look it up. It's good entertainment. But yeah,
It's good toilet material.
it is good toilet material. I always look up that stuff. Giving it the old soft flame treatment here with my Zycar, whatever you want to call this guy.
Mine's
What do you call it? Zycar?
Zycar. Exicar is what we do.
Exicar? Who calls it? Is that a mad
People
thing?
come in. No, people come in. And
They call it Exicar,
Yeah.
really?
Can I look at one of those Exicar lighters? See, mine's falling apart.
I've never heard. Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, this is a expensive smoke, so baby it, baby.
Yeah.
Got it fully lit. Give it a first puff here.
I was expecting a lot milder. I don't know why.
That's still got some kick to it, yeah.
It does, yeah.
Mm.
Nice.
Good spice through the nose. Not a whole lot. For me, it's not a lot of spice.
It's not a lot of spice, but it's just, I don't do it that
Yeah, I got you. The retro hell. The retro hell doesn't get me. I
Yeah,
think I
it's not as
burned out
bad. It's not as
effectively burned out all the stuff in my nose now. So the retro hell's like
Yeah, it's not as strong as the last 3 or 4
Yep.
that I've done.
it's like a buttered pig just going right through my nose.
Which is what you're looking for in life.
Just
Is to have a buttered pig.
just
run
have
through your
things come
nose.
out like a buttered pig. Yep.
Yeah.
When you get those poops that come out like a buttered pig, it's awesome. Just you don't have to wipe anything. It's great. How did we get here so fast? I have no idea.
Jeez.
Buttered pig. Is that a thing?
Well,
even
I don't
what
know. I was being sarcastic, believe it or
I know
not.
you were.
Believe it or not. Oh man. So what?
You sarcastic? What?
What?
Never.
What have you done lately? Oh, we had a great visit with Jeff Hirschauer. You've already seen that video. That was fun.
Yep, Jeff came and visited us, and he's one of our listeners from way back when, from episode 5, he claims.
Yep.
And I think he's full of shit, but no, I'm just kidding. No. But
Well, he is full of shit, but I don't know about
we
that.
definitely want to thank Jeff for supporting the show and bringing it to
Absolutely.
other people. And he gets it. He's one of those people that says it's just like hanging out in the B&M with a couple guys and they're just shooting the shit. And
it was cool to actually get to do that with him.
It is very, very cool to get to do that with him. So much appreciate the visit, Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely. So any of our other listeners that are in the Dallas area, let us know.
Mm-hmm. Come hang out with us.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We got an event coming soon that Calypso does.
Yeah, an Altadis event, August 28th.
Mm-hmm. You think?
Or 27th. I think
it's on a weekend. I think it's the 28th.
I think it's
because the 30th is it what days do you typically do those
Wednesday
on?
or Thursday.
Okay, so let's check here. So it'd be the 27th is a Wednesday, 28th is a Thursday. So which one?
Yeah, I'll find out later in the episode.
Prepared.
Because we couldn't decide if we wanted to do it Wednesday or Thursday, and I forgot which one we decided on.
Well, if it's Wednesday, we'll be doing the show.
That was one of the arguments. But Nate can't come to the event on Thursday, and so maybe it is on Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
What time? You're not gonna have time to do a show on Wednesday if it's Wednesday.
No.
So
maybe we have to do a 2 one night.
We can do live. We just haven't done a live one in a while, but it's such a pain because you're so busy.
It is.
You'd have to have somebody else in here to help.
I'd like to have 2 more people to help.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
Anyway. So
we'll figure it out.
What else have you been up to?
Man, I've been in mourning. Been watching a lot of Robin Williams stuff because, as you know, as everybody knows by now, we had a pretty major celebrity pass away.
Actually, 2 legends.
This week. The first one being Robin Williams via suicide, which is horrible.
Yeah.
So we've been kind of revisiting some of our favorite Robin Williams movies and comedy concerts and stuff.
Yeah.
And then right after that, Lauren Bacall.
Yep.
Who
the
legend of stage and screen and
married to Humphrey Bogart.
Yep, beautiful lady. Even as old.
Yeah, she was.
Even old, she was hot.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Total gilf. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so that's two big ones right in a row there.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a Robin Williams segment, right?
Later. Oh yeah. We'll have a Robin Williams segment later. Talk about his movies and stuff like that. We just wanted to get that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we did watch a couple things, and I hadn't realized how many of them my daughter had seen through the years.
Right.
Because I kept thinking, she doesn't really know who Robin Williams was, but besides Aladdin, she's actually seen quite a few of the movies that he's been in. So.
Wow. Well, yeah, we'll get into the movie part later, but I did do some YouTubing, and I haven't watched any movies since, but I've been YouTubing moments that I remembered from movies.
Yeah. And everybody's doing it. There's a lot of stuff on iHeartRadio. It was like 24 hours of Robin Williams, like just live concert stuff and interviews, and some of his early Johnny Carson interviews and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah. We were sitting up here with Nate was here. He and I were watching Pawn Stars, and I got a tweet or a message. It was a tweet, and it was R.I.P. Robin Williams WTF, and I went, what? No, no fucking way. So I said, somebody just said Robin Williams died, and Nate jumps out of his chair. Apparently, he and his dad are huge Robin Williams fans. So sure enough, turned on the news, and they're scrolling on the bottom. It's like, no way. That just sucks.
Yeah, it does.
It does. So
anyway. We'll get into that on the second, third after the sports segment. We'll talk more about that subject. But so that was it. That, and we're getting ready for school because we got the whole school thing coming, and so there was a lot of manic shopping for tax-free weekend, which is I'm glad I wasn't involved in. Yay! I got to skip it. I got to come here.
Oh, that's right. That was Sunday. Okay.
Yeah, I got to come here. Yeah. So that was great. I got to hang out with Jeff Ershower and do a show.
And not have to
deal with the crowds.
Of course, we did have to put up with Holdsworth, but that's okay.
Yeah. He's all right.
Yeah, we like Brandon. Brandon's a cool dude.
He's in Houston this week, so he's out there.
Yeah, he is out there.
Hawking his wares.
Busting it.
Yep.
Busting his tail.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
So what have you do? Do anything interesting this week? Different, new, exciting? See any movies or anything?
No, I've been YouTubing the Robin Williams stuff since Monday for the most part. Wipeout and Teen Wolf, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I caught up on a couple of shows that I'm watching. The Strain, which if you haven't started watching that, that's pretty interesting. You should probably check that out.
Is it a new
series? Okay. It's about 5 episodes in. It's Guillermo del Toro produced, and it's a modern day vampire thing, but it's interesting vampires instead of stupid glittery ones.
Twilight.
Yeah, more realistic in that you could possibly see this maybe happening kind of way, even though it would never happen that way. And then Hell on Wheels is back, which is the Western that I watch, and only a couple episodes in, but that's entertaining too. So I got a couple shows to watch. I usually don't watch TV all the time, so it's nice to have a couple shows to watch.
I've got a couple. That's it. I I started Netflix back up again because they gave me a free month.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just going through my queue to see if there was anything that I had wanted to see before I shut down my account. I couldn't find anything.
They changed. They changed so much.
I was like, what crap was I into when I put this in the queue? I don't even know. It was,
it was like a bunch of old garbage.
Yeah,
Just like, what the hell? I wanted to watch this.
Yeah.
It was probably because Netflix was so bad. There was just like, this is the least shitty of the shitty things
Right,
that are on there. You know?
Yeah, it's like, what?
There is really a lot of crap on Netflix. I mean, but you can get between Netflix and Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime, you get the free Prime movies and TV shows. Between Netflix and Prime, you end up with a good amount of stuff to watch. Right. Whether it's binge watching old TV shows or old movies that you missed or whatever. But really, you're going to have to get those two, maybe even Hulu, before you can really cut the cord.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're talking about what, $25, $30 a month?
Yeah.
So you're kind of back where you were before you
it's still
cut
cheaper
the
than
cord.
cable,
Yeah.
And you can watch what you want to watch when you want to watch it, as opposed to when it comes on or having to DVR it or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so not much viewing for me this week.
Smoke anything new and good?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah,
Which smoke?
well, we're going to be reviewing one of them
Oh, okay.
at some point. That Sabre de Esteli.
Oh yeah. Oh
It's
yeah,
new.
we've had a couple of those. Yeah, I got one at the show and I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
a good one. And Matt gave us one on Sunday.
Yeah, that'll be a joy to review.
Yes.
So.
It's a good
So
stick.
we'll put that out there now. If you can get it, it's the what is it called?
Sabre de Esteli Lancero.
Sabre de Esteli Lancero by Noel
Rojas, who also did the Guayacon.
Yes. So anybody that carries Guayacon may have it. It's a kind of a limited release deal. So if you find that your B&M has it, buy up a bunch, smoke one with us when we review it. It's a darn tasty stick.
Yeah, because they still had some left for retailers, and Matt liked it so much he bought 8 more boxes.
Yeah.
So, and it came in a box of 10. So we'll review that soon.
It's a good box to come in too, because that makes it affordable for people to get into.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
yeah. So where are you at on this? What are you thinking so far? Pretty mild.
One, it stuck to my lip where it's tearing. And 2, I think it went out because we were talking.
You were yapping. Mine is not burning the best. It's not a straight burn, but it's nothing that I think I'm going to have to straighten out yet. Pretty mild at this point. Mostly kind of a grainy earth flavor to it. It's got kind of a minerally thing going on.
Dude, it's right where I put my lips, so it's like I can't.
Yeah, just don't wet lip it.
I'm trying to seal it is what I'm trying to do, trying to get it to stick.
Turn it as you.
I know I do that.
So you can turn it and seal it.
But it sticks to my lip.
Get some tape, man. Get some tape. You gotta keep it going.
Cigar
glue. Yeah, spray it with some of that cigar glue.
Yeah,
on the
that
braid.
stuff tastes like crap.
Tastes delicious. What are you talking about? Tastes like fruit. I don't know. Isn't that like fruit pectin basically is what it is?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it does taste weird.
I'm getting that sweet spice, a little bit of earth.
There's a sweetness on the palate that's left, kind of the lingering flavor, if you're going to have a lingering flavor on this, because it is a very clean smoke, is that sweetness. There's a lingering sweetness, which is nice to have, rather than a lingering earth, which tends to turn into kind of muddy in your mouth. But
especially if you've had a few that day, a few cigars that day.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we don't really mention is the we talk about mouthfeel occasionally, but we don't talk about the after effects of a cigar and what you go through when you're done smoking it. Does it have a long finish? Is it a very clean finish? I typically like cigars that have more of a clean finish. So I don't want to taste the cigar the next day. And to me, that's kind of like a calling card of cheap tobacco. If you taste the cigar the day after you smoked it and it was only maybe 1 or 2 cigars, chances are one of those 2 cigars wasn't the best tobacco in the world.
Well, the one I would say I disagree on is, and I haven't had one in a long time, is the Tempest. I love the long finish on the Tempest. That I don't see any taste it the next day, but you're still tasting it another 35, 40 minutes afterwards.
And I'm okay with that if it's a nice finish. If it's a nice finish, if it's like a sweet finish to it, or if it's a flavor that you like, like a chocolate or something like that, like a dark chocolate, then that sticking around is okay. It's cool, Get a couple beers in you and it's probably gone, or some whiskey or something, and you probably lose it. But it's just when you wake up the next day and you have ashtray mouth.
Yeah, I hate that.
I can't stand it. I had that at the show because you smoke so many cigars a day. But if you get that just on 1 cigar, 2 cigars, then that's going to be something I'm not going to smoke all the time.
Right, I agree.
And there's a couple of brands that do that for me, and it's typically going to be the. I seem to get it a lot with a lot of the house blends because they're usually lesser tobacco, or they're cheaper cigars. I won't say they're necessarily lesser tobacco; they're just cheaper cigars. And I don't know if it's just the way that they're probably not. Maybe it has something to do with fermentation process. They're not fermented as long or something. I don't know. Who knows what that is? If anybody does know what causes you to get an ashtray mouth on a cigar, let us know. We'd like to know.
Message us on YouTube or Facebook or something. But
One of them there places.
It's not the greatest either, but I mean, it tastes great. It's a great tasting cigar.
Yeah, it is very tasty.
And I just retroheld, didn't hurt at all. And for me, that's saying something.
Yeah, the retrohal's nice. It's just got a little bit of spice.
A little butter, kind of. Like
it is a little creamy. Yeah, it's a little like a creamy spice on the retrohal. And we've got some waftage on it too, which is nice. Not a lot of waftage, but there's some sticking around there.
Depends on the puff, because I've had some serious at times. So far.
Some serious waftage and some light waftage. Depends on, like I said, the puffs. I am at about the end of the first third. Where are you at? You're getting close. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and take a break because we might go long on some other segments here. So we'll come back for the second third and the AJ Fernandez Sports Fiverr with that guy and maybe me, depending on the sports subject at hand.
Now I just got to come up with the topic.
Oh, nice. Good prep work, guy. We'll be back. And we are back for the second third of the Diamond Crown Julius Caeser Toro 6x52, by the way. We didn't say that last time.
Are you being Shatner?
No, I just was trying not to forget things. That's my whole thing. I was doing
your bullet pointing.
I was doing bullet points, yes.
Okay. Nice.
Yep. And now it is time for the AJ Fernandez Sports Fiverr with Randy Rankin and maybe this guy.
Maybe this guy, that guy. I'm going to talk a little more golf because this was one of the more golf. For those who don't know, Brandon, there are 4 majors every year: the Masters, the U.S. Open, the British Open, and the PGA Championship. And the first 3 majors this year were boring.
Do they play the PGA Championship in their PJs?
Not PGA Championship, PGA.
Oh, I heard PJ. That'd be funny if they played in like pajamas. That'd be great.
God.
Especially if it's like hot chicks and lingerie.
All the sports people are laughing at you now.
I don't give a fuck. I knew about the PGA. I just heard PJ. I'm like, PJ, what's that?
Okay. Anyway, the other majors have been boring this year because it's been, you knew who was pretty much going to win.
Yeah.
Well, going into Sunday, the leaderboard was awesome. You had Jim Furyk. You had Phil Mickelson for the first time this year actually made a charge. Rory McIlroy, who's the new Tiger, as I said last week. Henrik Stenson. I mean, the earlier majors this year, you look at the leaderboard, you'd heard of one name, you'd be like, who are these people, So this one, to have a good solid leaderboard like that, and then for it to end the way it did, was amazing. There was like a 3-hour rain delay, so they finished it at night.
Oh, wow.
And they played the last hole almost completely in the dark. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was really bad. I had forgotten about it, or I figured it was over by the time I got home because I didn't know about the rain delay. And I was waiting for someone to tweet who won because I was watching a movie at the time or something. And I'm like, surely it's over. So I typed, and sure enough, it wasn't over. So I turned it on and was watching it. And I pull for Phil Mickelson. He's my favorite golfer.
Yeah, he's the guy I pick in the Tiger game when I play it.
Do you?
Yeah,
okay,
I always
cool.
play as Phil.
And so you like to play lefty?
Yeah. I don't know why.
Well, he had a 1-shot lead on like 15 or 16, and I'm like, no way, because he started the day like 3 back. So he went on he opened up like 5 birdies in his first 8 holes. So he was making a nice charge, and he was up 1 shot over, I can't remember the second guy. But Rory was like 2 or 3 shots back, and Rory had been winning. So it was like, well then Rory got on a roll. So now he's only 1 behind Phil, and Phil being really good cost him this tournament. It's his 3rd shot. He's from the bunker, real close to the green. But Phil's famous for making these just ungodly not trick shots, but just shots that you wouldn't expect anyone to make. And sure enough, as he was getting ready to swing, the announcer said, this is makeable from here. When you're from the sand, he's going to chip and he can make it. And I was thinking the same thing because I've seen Phil do this a lot. Sure enough, he hits it nice. Hits the lip of the cup.
Whoa.
So it looks like it's going in. But because it hit the lip of the cup, it caused it to accelerate. So it wound up going like 15 to 20 feet away from the cup, so he winds up bogeying the hole. So now he and Rory are tied.
No.
Then he bogeyed the next hole, so now he's 1 back. He needed to eagle 18 in order to force a playoff. And on his third shot that he needed to make, he chipped, and it rolled just past the hole. So all he got was a birdie. He lost by one shot. But he almost chipped in for an eagle, which would have been incredible. But just bad luck that he was so good. Most people just try to get it close, go up there, make your par. But he's good enough. I'm going to knock it in.
Yeah.
And he almost did, but it wound up biting him in the ass.
Wow.
But it was an exciting tournament. It was a lot of fun. And thank God there was a good golf tournament for once this year, because there have not been many, or at least the majors, at all. And one more quick thing I wanted to talk to you about. I'm curious for your perspective of this.
Okay.
One of the most popular phenomenon in the country right now is fantasy football.
Ah.
And with NFL coming up, okay, for you, someone who you maybe watch the Super Bowl, and maybe if
Yeah.
you're around people watching a Cowboys game or something, you'll watch. So fantasy football players just have to seem like knuckleheads to you. Or nerds.
It's
anyway.
a different kind of nerd. It's the sports nerd. I mean, I think there's the sports guys, and then there's the sports nerds. The guys who are into all the stats, into all the players, and just really delve deep into it. It's the equivalent of a comic book nerd knowing everything about every episode of every issue of every comic that he loves.
Right.
It's that kind of nerdiness. And while most of these guys are jocks, and you wouldn't call them a nerd to their face, they got to know they're nerds. I mean, they got to know they're nerds for that sports thing. Because I mean, I've seen people do it. I've seen people talk about it. It's like another language I don't understand at all. So
I understand what you're saying.
And I don't
Last year
understand.
was the first year I wasn't in a league. I've been in 2 at a time before, but I know people that are in 10 to 15 leagues. And I'm like, I didn't even like taking care of 2.
Yeah.
And so last year I didn't do it, so I'm debating whether or not I'm going to do it this year. I'm trying to decide, did I miss it, or was it a relief?
Yeah.
So I've got a couple of weeks to decide.
I also kind of wonder how it's legal, because it's pretty much gambling. I mean, it is gambling.
It is.
You're going to have some money on it, and
win.
you're going to win or lose. So it's one of those things too.
I've won
that kinda,
twice.
Yeah.
I won 2 seasons, and so that was kind of fun. See, and I won the last year I played, so I'm kind of thinking go out on top.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm leaning towards. But there is one thing nerd related that I do like about fantasy. The draft is fun. When you all get together to pick your teams, that's fun.
Yeah.
But after that, then I don't really care. I like the draft more than I actually like taking care of my team throughout the year and setting my roster and stuff. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do it. But anyway, so there's our sports fiber.
More time to do other things.
Exactly.
So that ends today's Sports Fiber with Randy Rankin and this guy, Brandon Luna. Check out my ash on that. I've been kind of nursing it too, so I'm not trying to let it fall off, but it's a good ash.
My burn's getting a little better.
I am definitely in the second third at this point.
It didn't
And
go out during the...
yeah, it didn't.
Nice.
I'm just waiting for that ash to fall. I'm going to put it down, see if it falls. Oh, look at that. I even set it down hard, and it still stayed.
You were trying to set it down delicately. And went
I know, and then clonk, yeah. And it stayed. That's cool.
Very cool. All right, so the sad news.
The sad news. Robin Williams is no longer with us.
Very, very disappointing. We could do a whole topic on suicide in any way, But,
oh, yeah.
But I've read something, my first instinct whenever I hear about someone committing suicide is like, that's a crappy way to treat your family. And
Yeah.
It's very selfish. That's my first instinct.
Mhm.
And that was what I was going to come on here today and say. But I read an article this morning that made me change my mind.
Mm-hmm. Which article was that? I've read several too.
It was on Facebook, so you might have seen it. But it was...
was it the cracked one?
No, it was about depression.
Okay.
That it is a disease.
It is a disease, yeah.
And someone with a disease does not operate in the right frame of mind.
Yeah.
So he said, this guy wrote it, said suicide did not kill Robin Williams. Depression killed Robin Williams. Okay, I'm a little softer now on it.
Yeah.
But it's still a crappy way for your family to lose you.
There was a very good article on Cracked, which is, a site that's a lot of funny stuff. It's like Funny or Die is on there and all this other crap. And it was written by one of the guys who's a comedy writer for Cracked. And he was talking about how he knew Robin Williams and knew what he was going through, and how 90% of comedy writers and comedians and comedic actors deal with depression and know exactly what he was going through. And for people who don't know about depression, shut the fuck up. And maybe this article will help you understand what these people are going through. And it was very, very enlightening, very, very well written article.
So similar tone to what I read.
Yeah, it had some funny stuff in it because it was written by a guy who works for Cracked, but for the most part, it was very much about what you're dealing with when you're in depression and how little you actually have control over yourself at that point, because it is a disease, because you're not in the right frame of mind, because you're thinking only about getting out of the depression and what can you do to get out of it.
And what's the quickest way?
Yeah.
Not the best way, the quickest way. Yeah.
Yeah. And to hear how they found him and what, I mean, I'm sure you heard the details,
I haven't
the gory
heard the details today. What happened?
It's horrible. I mean, they basically...
Asphyxiation. Did he hang himself?
He did hang himself on a closet door with a belt. There was marks on his wrists where he had tried to commit suicide with a knife, and the knife was next to him, but I guess he couldn't cut deep enough, so he hung himself. And that's just, you got to think, what kind of shit was going through your head to make you not be successful, but still want to go through with it, you know, to want to end it all. And he was there for 12 hours. He was already in rigor mortis when they found him, and it was his assistant that found him. They broke the door open and found him. So that's horrible. I mean, such a horrible end for such a great guy who did a lot for the community, did a lot for other people, was very giving as a person. Everybody that he touched talks about how honest and fun and just how much of a great guy he was. Yeah. But other people always talk about how you could always tell when something was wrong with Robin, when he would not be that open and giving guy. When he was quiet and reserved, that's when you know something was wrong.
Trying to find information on Monday when we got the news. Wolf Blitzer, which I don't watch, but he was on, and he had Henry Winkler had called in. And I was thinking, what's his affiliation? And I remembered, Mark was on Happy Days. He froze Fonzie, remember?
Yep.
So anyway, he said that every time I thought it was a silly analogy, but when I thought about it, I thought it was a really nice thing to say. He said, when you were around Robin, it felt like you were in a warm bath. That sounds silly at first, but then when you think about it, that means his warmth enveloped you.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's a nice trilogy. What's the word? Eulogy.
A nice trilogy. Not a nice trilogy now.
Well, let's get to the career. Name some of your favorite Robin Williams.
Well, I grew up with the guy. I mean, I was the first exposure I really had to him was the stand-up, which, at the time HBO was big and he was on HBO. He did like a small little stand-up thing. And I was a kid, so I didn't understand it. All I knew is that he was making people laugh, and I was laughing because of him, because of the faces he made, the things he was saying. It was just, he was this manic energy, and I'd never seen anybody like that on stage. Right. So after that, it was, Happy Days and Mork and Mindy and everything that goes along with that. Yeah. As far as movies go, I mean, I like a lot of his movies. I tend to like him more in the comedies than the dramas, but I do like his dramas. We watched Dead Poet Society.
I'm the exact opposite.
Yeah, I liked Dead Poet Society a lot. We watched that last night. My daughter had never seen it, and she loved it. She cried. And she did cry, and she said, "That's what I need. I need a teacher like that." I'm like, everybody needs a teacher like that, but they're few and far between nowadays.
And in the next segment, maybe we'll talk.
Yeah,
because I have one.
I loved World According to Garp because it had the right combination of comedy and drama. And at that point in his career, and you'd never really seen him do any kind of drama. That was a big surprise for me to see him in that role. And then also Moscow on the Hudson was another one that he pulled off a very, I mean, he's a very straight, dramatic role for him. Yeah. He plays Russian, he does the accent and everything, But what a lot of people don't understand was the guy went to Juilliard. I mean, the guy was training to be an actor. And
maybe that's he and Henry Winkler's tie-up. Yeah. I think Henry Winkler went to Juilliard.
So, that's some pretty big, thing. I mean, that's a big thing to go to Juilliard. Not everybody gets into Juilliard. Right, for him to go to Juilliard and then drop out and go into Happy Days and Mork and Mindy and stuff is a, wow.
Well, some of my favorites are definitely Garp. I loved Dead Poet Society, obviously. I'm trying to think of a comedy I really liked of his. Because I
liked Best of Times because he played kind of against type. He played a nerd in that.
Yeah, is that the one with Kurt Russell?
With Kurt Russell, I thought that was a really fun. It was a really fun movie. But yeah, I tend to like more of his earlier comedic stuff. I kind of liked that
License to Wed, but that was mostly because it had a bunch of people from The Office was in it, and it was kind of funny.
And I liked some of his. I like a lot of his bad movies. I liked Club Paradise, which is horrible. I liked a lot of his just really crap. I like Popeye. People don't like Popeye.
I hated Popeye.
I grew up watching Popeye cartoons, and for me that was like I can't watch it now. It's a horrible movie, but
I'm leaving out. Good Will Hunting obviously was excellent.
Yep. Good Morning Vietnam, big one.
The problem with Good Morning Vietnam is not the movie itself or his performance. They were both great. But I had a friend who had seen it like 9 times before I'd even got a chance. I saw it in the theater. So he'd already seen it 9 times. And he was constantly quoting lines from the movie, and I would hit him in the shoulder like, Chad, shut up. I want to see this movie. One time I got there, it felt like I'd already watched it, and I was just like, eh.
It kind of Ferrised it for you.
Yeah. So I was like, well, fuck that.
For me, that was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Like by the time I saw it, I'd already seen it, by hearing everything. But so nothing was a surprise.
Leaving out. Oh, okay. Remember that era? There was an era in the early aughts where he went villain. in Insomnia and in
1 Hour
Photo, which,
Yeah.
boy, that movie was disappointing. He was great in it. One of the worst endings ever in a movie to me. But his performance was excellent. And I thought he was so understated as the bad guy in Insomnia.
Yeah.
But he was really good at it. And he kind of needed to be a little more somber because it had, of course, Al Pacino, who overdoes everything he does. So
Yeah, of course, yeah.
it was a nice balance there. And
Yep.
who would think Robin Williams would be the understated one in a role? Now, when I say I don't like his comedies that much, he was a funny guy. Nate and I watched him on Who's Line on YouTube on Monday after we found out. And I remember thinking he got his ass kicked on that Ryan Stiles and Colin Mockery outshined him. He got some good ones in, man. I had forgotten about it. I can't remember, but Nate and I were laughing our asses off on a couple of things. But, man, just sad. What's your favorite one? Dead Poets Society is definitely my favorite one.
Yeah, I'd probably say Dead Poets Society is probably my favorite of his movies, just because he embodied that character, and he was the heart of that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Second probably being Ethan Hawke's character, just because he was the innocence, in that film. The other kids were kind of jaded and already knew what was going on. He was probably the character that grew the most. You could see the kid that commits suicide. Yeah, I mean, he's
spoiler alert.
Yeah, if you haven't, come on. How old is that movie?
25 years. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. What's his name?
Yeah, he's on.
The other guy. Yeah, with the eyebrows. Eyebrow guy. We're gonna call him eyebrow guy.
He was on House.
Yeah, but not Ethan. It wasn't Ethan Hawke. It was Robert Sean Leonard.
Yeah,
is that right?
Really right. That does sound right.
So I mean, you could see he was already the guy that was the popular one in the crowd, that you could see that he was going to go that way and kind of push forward with what they wanted. I mean, if you haven't seen Dead Poets Society, you got to see the freaking movie. It's awesome.
I have a funny story about that. I saw it on a Friday night with my brother, who's 2 years younger than me, and my best friend from high school. So we're three dudes on a Friday night, and I don't know why we picked that movie. And so we're there, and the ending scene, the captain saying, "Boy, if that doesn't," three of us were like, "Don't cry in public. We're dudes. Don't cry in public."
Yeah.
But I watched the ending of that the other night. It got me again.
And it's hard to watch that now, because one of the characters does commit suicide, and that hits home, considering that situation. Probably one of the worst ones, though, for that is a movie that he did a couple years back. It was Bobcat Goldthwait wrote and directed it. It's called World's Best Dad. And it's a very, very dark comedy. Yeah. Have you seen it?
I've seen parts of it. I have not finished it.
Yeah, basically he plays a guy who's a teacher that his son commits suicide.
Yeah, that's right. You told me about it. Yeah.
Via hanging himself.
That's
on a door. And he was jerking off and died. And rather than deal with the pain of it and not knowing his son, not knowing why he did it, he writes basically a letter that would be his son's suicide letter. And it circulates and gets out, and everybody thinks, oh my God, this kid was totally different than we thought he was. And he kind of lets it ride and it's a hard movie to get through, especially now. But it's a good movie. You should definitely see it.
I need to finish it.
Yeah, if you need a good cry, that's definitely one to watch.
But
who would have thought Bobcat Goldthwait would have depth? I mean, the guy writes. He's a good writer and director. Exactly. And Aladdin, for just pure enjoyment, kids movie, you got to love Aladdin. Miss Doubtfire is hard for me to watch now. A lot of the humor is lost on me nowadays, but it's still a funny movie. I really love Hook, even though
I thought Hook was he was good in Hook.
I liked him in Hook. I liked the change in the story and how they went a different route with it. I thought that was kind of cool.
Well, even had another of his dramatic ones that I like.
He's got a ton of them, man. Fisher King was a dramatic. Awakenings.
Yeah,
he played Straight Man.
Fight over Fisher King.
Yeah, you didn't like it. Yeah, I like Fisher King. He did a lot of voice work too. Fern Gully, In Search of Dr. Seuss, whatever that is. 9 months he was hilarious. 9 months. Jumanji, The Birdcage, great performance.
That's the one comedy that I love.
Yeah,
Gene Hackman dragging a movie.
Yes, that should have been his last movie. Gene Hackman's last movie.
No, The Juror was fun.
The what?
The Juror was good.
I don't think I saw The Juror. I don't even know what that is.
His name is Rankin in it also.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that.
That should have been the last movie.
Yep.
But anyway, back to Robin.
What Dreams May Come probably be pretty difficult to watch now, too.
That's the one I was going to mention.
Yeah.
That's written by Richard Matheson, who wrote Somewhere in Time, which is another one of my favorite chick movies.
Yeah.
But What Dreams May Come was so visually stunning.
Yeah,
that movie was wild.
Yeah.
And just a great story. If you don't know what it's about, it's a guy he and his wife die. She goes to hell. He goes to heaven. And he tries to work his way back into hell to save her. It's a great movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So he's had a ton of work, and you know it's sad that he slipped near the end there and was doing stuff that wasn't really getting much play. You know, he's kind of reserved to secondary roles and TV shows that got canceled, and that probably is where the depression kicked in.
You know, I watched that pilot of that. I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah,
I never. Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Never saw an episode.
And I guess we need to touch briefly on Lauren Bacall. I think Lauren Bacall, the first movie that pops into my head is The Shootist with John Wayne. She runs the board. You know, her and Jimmy Stewart took less money just because everyone knew that was going to be John Wayne's last movie. And Lauren Bacall had always wanted to be in a movie with him. And Jimmy Stewart, of course, had been in several with him and wanted to do one more with him. So that's kind of cool. But she was in a movie called The Fan in the early 80s. Did you ever see that?
Which one was that? The one
she was like a Broadway star, maybe TV star. And she has this fan that's stalking her and killing all the people around her. It was a pretty good movie.
I saw the one with Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes.
That was
That's the only one I saw.
And she was probably got to be in her 50s in The Fan, and she was hot.
Yeah, I remember her from all the Dashiell Hammett stuff, The Big Sleep, you know, Key Largo, all the older film noir stuff. You know, great movies. There's a couple. I'm trying to find this one that I really liked that was semi-newer. But she's just, you know...
One with Barbara Streisand.
Yeah, that's the one. Murder on the Orient Express. You know, she's great in that. The Shootist, that was the one you mentioned. She was in the Rockford Files in a couple episodes of that, believe it or not.
Cool. Wow.
Didn't know that. Mr. North, that crappy Bruce Willis one where he's dressed up as the bunny. She's in that. Like, so, but yeah, I mean, she's just one of those performers that just brought it every single time.
Yeah.
The Mirror Has Two Faces. That's the one you're thinking of.
That's it.
Yeah. And she was in the Chicago Hope TV series. Dogville. Dogville was the one I was thinking of. That was the last one I saw her in that I was like, oh, yeah. And she did a voice in Howl's Moving Castle, which is one of my daughter's favorite Japanese anime movies.
She had a great voice.
Yeah, she does have a fantastic voice. Sexy-ass voice.
And same ex-wife sounded like her.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Damn you, man. Good stuff.
Not bad.
So, second, third, a little more bolder.
It's not overly complex, but it is doing something.
It's just very flavorful.
Yeah.
I'd say it's switched from that spice is still slightly there, but it's mostly earthy.
Yeah,
right now at this point, it's a lot of earthy,
far more earthy,
and very gritty, kind of I don't know. I guess you call it like a grainy, minerally earth is what I would say. It's like minerally earth.
I'll buy that.
So we're gonna take a little break. We'll come back for the last third.
R.I.P. Lauren Bacall and Robin Williams.
Yes, R.I.P. to both of them. Last third of the Diamond Crown Julius Caesar. All right, everybody, we're back for the last third of the Diamond Crown Julius Caesar in the Toro size. We got two cameras rolling. We're rocking two cameras.
Man.
Dose.
That's
two people. That's twice the us.
Twice the us and twice as many cameras as they used on The Office.
Yes.
Supposedly.
Yes. That's what they say.
Yeah. Single camera show.
So that ash, I tell you what, man, that thing holds its ash pretty darn nice. Check that out.
2 long ashes you've had.
Yep, 2 long ashes and darn tasty smoke.
Oh, man. Well, want to do some shout-outs?
Yeah, we can. I want to first talk about that a little bit. It's changed a little bit on me. Last third, I'm getting kind of a coffee note, like a dark coffee.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's like a dark. It's like an earthy dark coffee.
Okay.
And that spice is kind of kicking up in the nose again. So if you retrohale on that last third, you're gonna get a little surprise there.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, the retrohale is wow. It's got a lot of burn.
Yeah, nice.
A little burn in the last third. So yeah, watch that last third. But it's tasty, darn tasty smoke. At the price point, you know, I don't know that I'd buy a bunch of these, but you know.
If you got a good deal, or
it's one of those occasional, not an everyday smoke. It may be for some people, and if it is, great on you. Then you got some extra cash or whatever. But for me, it'd be one of those special occasion smokes. Yeah. And it's damn tasty. It's good enough that I would make it a special occasion smoke. I could see having a fiverr just to knock around, every once a year or something like that when you have a special occasion. Something good happens, you get a promotion, whatever.
Yeah.
Friend in town you haven't seen in a long time. Hey, let's smoke this. That type of thing.
You hook up.
Yeah, you hook up. You get laid. That's a good after. You get laid smoke. But the bitch has got to let you smoke it, though. She can't be interrupting you with shit.
Right.
So, women,
Women,
let your men smoke their cigars.
Absolutely. It almost sounds like a Willie Nelson song.
Right. it very well could be. Very well could be.
Oh, man. Okay. I got a lot of shout-outs. I'm sure you do, too.
Yep. Most of ours overlap.
A bunch of them on Facebook, which is Nice.
From our page or from?
It's page and the store.
Okay, cool. Go for it.
Jared Grillick. Do we pronounce his name right? Is it Griot? Is it Griot? Or is
I think it's Griot. Or...
Okay. Miguel Roca, long-time listener.
Mm-hmm.
Cigar Coop. Garrett Weem. He's been around for a while. Fabio Augusto.
Cool name.
Zane Silva, another long-timer. Guido Carloni. Sounds like he had to be in a Godfather movie, doesn't
Awesome name. Awesome name.
Scott. I know that's not what he said. Scott Lee. Okay. Artigas Cigars.
Okay.
Max Juarez. George A.H. Ann Wagner, no relation, unfortunately. Lanny, don't know how to pronounce your last name, Lanny, Xiao. And Jorge Quintana.
All right, that was Facebook?
That was Facebook.
All right.
Now Twitter. Cigar Hustlers.
That's a website, yeah.
Yeah. Dan Schmidt, he owns several B&Ms in the area. Chris Robertson. Skylar. Paul Saluzzi. Mandy Del Rio, movie producer. Got a movie coming out, looks really good.
Cool.
Called Infliction.
Oh, yeah. I got a thing from him, too, saying, hey, check out my trailer.
Right. Nub TV. But not the cigar nub.
Oh, okay.
It looks like it's some English TV.
Mostly for people with nubs, like it'd be Matt's TV station.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
God. Lacey Nicole. She is married to a movie producer. Katarina Vargas. Theodis Crane, who you said was in...
He was in Walking Dead,
Walking Dead. That's
he was
cool.
one of the prisoners in Walking Dead. And I sent him a private message, too, saying, hey, Smoke Cigars, come be on the show. And I haven't got anything back yet, so...
Armador Vargas.
Okay.
Alf. And it's somebody going by the name of Alf
Yep.
with the...
Ha! I kill me. It's the space alien life form, yeah.
I kind of liked Alf.
I liked Alf, too. I watched Alf, yeah.
3D. 3DEE.
Okay.
Will Rogers, another movie producer. And it's Rogers with a D, not the old humorist from Oklahoma.
Okay.
Matt Kincaid, Teen Wolf, and Team Kate Argent.
Cool. I have some from, this is kind of a combination of Google Plus and Stogie Friends and YouTube. So I got Ray Jones, Christopher Shelvin, Brad McKelvey, Anthony Tassin, who's a longtime listener and buddy of mine. I've met him before. Cool dude. This guy is a new fan that's been actually commenting on the YouTube videos, Mr. C. Breakable.
Oh, I've seen that.
So yeah, he's a big fan, likes the show. Maduro Maniac is also another one. Jeff Hirschauer, of course.
All right.
A couple of overlaps, Cigar Coop. Just Josh, Jimbo V, and Just Josh, actually, we call him a two-bands man because he only smokes cigars with two bands or more.
Okay.
He's
Good to have a quirk.
Cigar snob, yeah. Huskers and Short Fuse. So.
Okay, and of course Scott Cognac.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay Eisen gets an apology. I was giving Jeff Hirschauer the credit for that wet dream joke regarding the code retrohale. Jay informed me on Twitter that no, that was his joke, and he's going to charge us because we've used it a couple of times. F you, Jay Eisen.
And Poolside Cigar Reviews, Kirk is back making comments again.
Is he?
So,
I didn't
yeah,
see.
he saw a
Okay.
couple comments on the latest ones. He's forgotten about us, I guess.
He's getting too big. He's got 20 more
He's
subscribers.
got shirts
than we do.
now.
And he's got 20 more subscribers than we do on YouTube.
I know
so.
that shirt having and a song. Fuck you, Kirk.
Cutter! Oh, he probably copyrighted that. So now he's gonna sue me.
Yeah. I told him he needs to make a song for us. He's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, he sounded real excited about that. He's going to get right on that. Anyway, well, thanks for coming back, Kirk.
We love you, Kirk. You know that. Yeah, he's shaking. We love Kirk. Don't be that way.
I'm joking. I commented on one the other day. It's been a while because I told you I watch him at the store and I don't have my password for YouTube.
Yeah.
So,
what can you do?
I know.
So yeah, I'm keep telling him he needs to start converting his.
I forgot about
You can't forget about Eddie Stogie fan. He's also a longtime listener. Yeah. He's been around probably as long as Jeff has.
I think he commented on the first episode. Or
oh, really?
Episode,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Eddie. Whoever you are. And God, what else was I gonna say? Stuff. Things. Okay. So back to the. We talked about this off mic, and so we wanted to bring it to the show. We talked about Dead Poet Society being definitely the definitive Robin Williams role, and one of the things that my daughter kind of latched onto it for, and the same reason a lot of people do, is have you ever had that teacher, that one teacher that inspires you to be better than you were, to want to learn, to want to excel? And you know, I don't know, not everybody's had that. I mean, have you had that?
I did have one.
Who was your teacher?
And that was why it was so meaningful, because the buddy that I was with, it was our choir teacher. And we were both in choir together, so we, like halfway through the movie, went, "That's Miss Heffley." And I'm going to give her Rosemary Heffley, and she will never hear this, but I just want to acknowledge her publicly, was that teacher. Now, I hated her. I hated her. I didn't embrace her like Ethan Hawke and all these kids did. I didn't embrace her. She rode my ass, but it was all to make me better. She was like, you're aspiring for mediocrity, and you know, you've got so much more. And but it wasn't just me. But there was just many times she would pull me over, and if she thought I was not getting the most out of myself, and she would chew my ass.
Yeah.
You know, chew my ass. And so she's not exactly like the Robin Williams character, but her motivation was the same. And she wanted you to, you know, we had to write reports on something that moved us musically each week on Friday. That's what we do, write something that moved us. And this is back when I only listened to Christian music. So everything I wrote was always, you know, Amy Grant and Stryper and stuff like that. You know? And she was like, "Okay, I understand that's what you want to do, but you need to branch out musically." And that's when I started doing that. I did it as a kid because my mom played every kind of music there was, so I knew everything. But then I quit and started doing the Christian music stuff. And I thank her, because I did it again. I went back out there and started learning new music and finding good stuff. So she was definitely that. While I was in her presence, I didn't like her. But it was the second of graduation, and we saw that movie like just weeks after graduation. I got it. By watching Robin Williams' performance, I was like, that was Miss Heffley. That's what she did. Did you have that teacher?
I did, yeah. My teacher was I was in high school, and he inspired me to get into drama, because I was a Shakespeare nerd. Okay. He was my English teacher, and it was Mr. Hendrickson.
Is that a dagger I see before me?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I was one of the few people that actually understood Shakespeare, so he's always having me read it, and I was like, "Oh, you're busting my ass," you know, because I would not just say the words, but I would put the right inflection and made it funny just by how I said it. You know, Shakespeare is one of those things. Even if you don't understand it, if you say it right, the right way,
sounds good.
It sounds good, and it makes you laugh, because obviously you're saying a joke, you know,
right,
and
exactly.
You put something into it. So he was one of those teachers that, you know, would just bust my ass on writing. I know you can do better than that. I can, you know, you wrote this last minute, didn't you? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you edit as you write. You need to take more time, and you know, so he was always making me that take that extra step to be a better writer, to do better grades, to put the time in to actually learn something and keep it. And it was at the end of the freshman year. He's like, next year I want you to take drama as an elective. I'm like, I don't. That's nerdy. I don't want to do that. I'm like, I'm in tennis. I'm in golf. I'm not doing that. You know, he's like, no, you're going to take drama. I'm like, fine. So I took drama, and you know, he was right. It was just it was an outlet for me to you know, expand who I was. You know, get into a different scene. I had a blast doing it. You know, and that was when I learned that I liked not only acting but writing. And 90% of the stuff, I was this much of a nerd in drama. 90% of the soliloquies I did were ones I wrote myself. So,
well, I thought it was a dick move at the time, but I was skipping a lot of school in my junior year. My parents were going through the divorce and things, and I just didn't give a shit. You know, I'd wait for my parents left. I'd walk far enough away from the house, because my parents left for work at the same time I would walk to school. And the second I saw their cars out of sight, I would just circle right back in and hang out in the house all day. You know, well, they were. This wasn't every day. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to. I'd been kicked out of school if I'd done it every day. But anyway, so I was in drama at the time also. So I was the nerd. But I also played baseball. So I was a baseball choir boy and drama boy. And
you're all over the place.
I was. And they were going to do The Sound of Music. And yes, we both admit that we like The Sound of Music.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And I wanted to play the Christopher Plummer part. That was my part. I mean, I wouldn't have even needed the script. I'd seen the movie enough. You know, I knew his lines. I knew how I wanted to deliver them. And so I had to do a monologue for the audition. And there was a speech that Henry Fonda says in Mr. Roberts that I thought kind of captured, what's his name? Von Trapp, Captain Von Trapp.
Yeah, Captain Von Trapp.
It kind of captured his personality, so I thought, and I nailed the monologue. And then we had to sing Edelweiss, which that's an easy song for me. It's very low. And so nailed that. And it was Miss Heffley and the drama teacher were holding the auditions.
Okay.
And Miss Heffley walked over to me, and she kind of gave me this look, like she did. She always had this kind of cocky head move. She goes, "You surprised me." And I said, "I did?" She goes, "Yep, you definitely surprised me, and I congratulate you for coming out for this."
Nice.
So I'm thinking, cool. So that later that day, they were going to post who got what part. I got cast as an extra.
Aw. Boo.
And so I come home, I'm pissed, and my dad says, "Well, I just got off the phone with Miss Heffley." I'm like, "Yeah." She said, "They agreed you were the best one for the part, but since you haven't been taking school seriously this year, they couldn't trust you with it."
Oh.
But you know what? She did the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, because I quit skipping school then, because it cost me something that I really wanted.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you know, sometimes that's
name?
what it. Sometimes it takes. That's what it takes. You know.
Yeah. What was your teacher's name?
Mr. Henderson. Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, you know, I mean, it's. They're few and far between. I had a couple in college also that were pretty inspiring. I had my broadcast television teacher was like just the coolest guy because he had experience. You know, he was in the industry, was very excited about it. You know, brought that excitement to the class. Was always trying to show us new, cool ways to do things that, you know, maybe like a step to the left or a step to the right, and it makes this much difference. And he was really cool in that respect, and that made me want to be a broadcaster. I was always into radio, and I hadn't really thought about doing television. He's the one that got me technically into wanting to do, you know, videoing, you know, videotaping, and you know, setting up the shots and doing all the cinematography and everything else that went along with it. And so yeah, you know, everybody has those teachers, I think, if you pay attention. The big thing is you have to be open to it.
Yeah, and they have to take the time to make sure you're open to it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
and even with Dead Poet Society, if you noticed in the movie, the scene at the end, spoiler alert, when everybody does the Captain, my Captain, they stand up on the desks. Not everybody stands up because not everybody really got into it. You know, a lot of people thought that he was a great teacher and they got it, while other people just weren't open to it. The redhead jackass that turned him right in.
To begin with. So and then and the one scene that I really like is the one guy that didn't like him. You thought throughout the whole movie, and he's the one that's really fighting to like stand up because you can tell that this is a magnificent moment, and you could see the wheels churning.
Yep.
Wait a minute, this guy was special. I didn't get it. I'm getting it now. I'm standing up. It's
the one that
awesome.
did the cheesy little one-line poem. Yeah.
And so yeah, I was fortunate to have that teacher, and I was glad, and I hope everyone does. And if you see a teacher's doing something differently than all your other teachers, pay more attention to that one. Yeah. Differently in a positive way.
Yeah, exactly.
But because they really are trying to reach you. They're really trying to reach you, and they really have good information for you.
Yeah. You know? And that's what I told my daughter. My daughter's like, "Oh, I want a teacher like that. I just, you know, that's really what I need to. If I could find a teacher like that would, you know, care about me and my advancement in math, because that's her hardest subject." I'm like, you know, I told her, I was like, you got to be open to it. You may have a teacher that's like that, but you just were so sore on the subject or sour on the subject that you didn't want to pay attention, and you weren't really, you know, giving that teacher the opportunity to reach you. And you know, so that's the thing. I was like, you go to this new school, you got to be open to what they're gonna bring to you as an educator, and let them know, hey, you know, I'm here to learn. You know, tell me what you can, and I'll do what I can to be the best student I can. And that's the whole thing. I mean, if you go into school with the wrong attitude, you're not going to learn anything. You're going to take it for granted, and then later in life, you're going to go, shit, I should have paid attention. Yeah, you know, because it all comes back. I mean, a lot of people don't think you use math. You use math every freaking day of your life. You know, sure, you can use your calculator on your phone, and sure you can.
And maybe you're not using algebraic equations or calculus, but you are using math every day. And, you know, reading and writing skills. I mean, it amazes me that they don't even really teach cursive in school anymore. It's like, that's horrible. Well, you know, it's not necessary anymore. But supposedly, it still should be taught. It's something that, you know, you don't want to go away. You don't want 20 years from now for no one to know how to write anything. You still have to sign your name on things. You know. That's ridiculous that they don't do that. So, it is. You know, I think a lot of it is the educational system breaking down, teachers not caring because they're not getting paid enough, and their cookie cutter curriculum. Yeah, exactly. You know, and that's really what that movie was about. It was about opening your mind and looking at things a different way, and actually taking the opportunity to learn something beyond what it says on the page. Yeah, you know, what? page 31.
Yeah.
It's not in our book.
Yeah.
It's not in my book.
No.
We'll get borrow someone else. It's not in anyone's book.
They're all
So it's like one of his first things he did was he's reading this and he's
it's
tell he's
garbage.
talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
And if that really is a true page, and that's what that guy thinks of poetry, and how that's what you're supposed to be looking for in poetry, good, tear up that crap. That's not what poetry's about.
Yep. Yeah. Great movie if you haven't seen it. So yeah, Robin Williams, excellent career. Did you ever see the Coco video where he met the gorilla? That resurfaced online too, because he talks about it in his comedy bit, but there's actually the video of him meeting Coco, the sign language gorilla. Such a cool video. It's just amazing. And they said now that Coco, like they told Coco that he passed away and she's all depressed now and stuff. So she was like saying that she loved him and all sort of stuff. You know, that's such a great video. So watch that video. I have to watch that. I share it on Facebook. So if you're on my Facebook,
I'll look it up.
Look up Coco.
I have to tell my favorite Robert Williams line from his stand-up.
All right, go for it.
He said, "God gave man a penis and a brain, but only enough blood flow to control one
at a time." Yep. Very true. Very true.
Great line. So yeah, he'll be
missed. Oh, so this is how much I miss the guy and how much I appreciate what he did. I actually broke up my VCR.
Did you?
And popped in a tape I have of Robin Williams at the Met, because you can't find it anywhere. It was never on DVD, it was never on Blu-ray, never anything. The only way you can find it really is there's an audio recording of it, but the HBO special, it's nowhere. I mean, if you really dig, you can find it's somewhere to download, but it's a horrible copy.
VCR,
I mean, like
to download is never.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like there's like the image goes all you can see there's like lines in the tape where it got chewed up and stuff, and you miss half of the audio. It's horrible. And my tape is horrible, but it was watchable. So
that's cool.
That was cool.
They might re-release it now.
Yeah, you never know. I hope they do. Yeah. Hope someone comes up with a copy of it, because that was really at the height of his brilliance, and just seeing him just manic on the stage and making up all the stuff, and 99% of it's just hilarious.
Did you, real quick, because I'm going to scold people that are idiots. See that his daughter was getting hate tweets?
Yeah.
So she had to close her Twitter account?
That's bullshit. Yeah, I saw that.
That sucks.
That does suck
People
big time.
Suck.
They do.
They can be so sucky.
They can.
Yeah, so anyway.
Yeah. So, hate to end on a somber note, but we do need to close it up here. So, last third, definitely got a little bolder. Definitely more of a like a dark coffee flavor with a little bit of earth. Still got that
gonna nub it because I've got
minerally flavor.
I'm gonna nub now.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna nub this sucker. Yeah. So, thanks, Mark, for sending us these. For sending them to me for my birthday and for us to review. And always appreciate that. If there's anything you guys want us to review, you can always send it out to us. Just contact us via email.
Or Facebook.
Yeah, go to the Facebook page and send us a private message there, and we'll get it, and then we'll let you know how to get it to us. We're always looking for new things to review.
Absolutely. So, we're on iHeartRadio, Podomatic, Spreaker, iTunes,
Stitcher.
Podcast Land, Stitcher. You can find us on YouTube and Twitter.
Just Google Calypso Cigar Review, and we're all over the place. The first 5 pages. So
at Randy Rankin 43 on Twitter.
Captain Funky Pants on Twitter.
At Calypso Cigar Rev on Twitter.
Yep. And Cigar Deet Nate hasn't been with us for a couple of weeks, but he's still alive. He'll be back.
So fuck him.
Yeah, fuck that guy. His little hand in the shot.
All right.
So as always, it's been great smoking with you.
See you later, Brandon.
See you later, Randy.